Hello world, I'm Chris Perillo, and I wanted to talk to you today about native apps versus web apps, since this was a versus idea that came from one of you when I asked you what kind of versus you wanted me to do for you this week. It's very participatory, so if you'd like me to cover another topic, this versus that, go ahead and let me know. Just follow me on social media and participate that way. So, native apps versus web apps. When we're talking about applications running on, say, a smartphone platform like iOS or Android, there are various ways it could run, either as a native app or as an app that was specifically built for that platform or with that platform in mind, or a web app, which could be run anywhere, something built on HTML5, something that would run equally as well, or theoretically, if the hardware was equal, on Android as it might on iOS. So, when it comes to native apps versus web apps, there's really none that's inherently better. If you're looking for better portability or, let's say, cross-platform compatibility, you'd probably be leaning more towards a web app or something built on HTML5, which most modern platforms are going to support out of the box. If you're looking for performance, however, and something that is going to be able to take advantage of more features of a particular platform or piece of hardware, the native app is going to be the way to go. Which one's better? Well, it depends on what you value more. If your company or whatever you wanted to create is all about finding as many users as it can possibly get and decreasing the amount of costs that are involved with development, the web app is probably going to be the way to go, or an app that wasn't specifically designed with any one platform in mind, but it could run equally as well, even though it wouldn't run amazingly well on any particular platform today. It's the fact that it is more cross-platform compatible. Advantage web app. I mean, think about this. If you had to experience two different worldwide webs through the same internet connection, it would be frustrating to not know which one you had to be at any given point in time. And so that's why the web is kind of universal. It's a lingua franca, if you will. And that's the advantage of, say, a web app, is the fact that it could run on any platform without necessarily having to be compiled specifically for a platform. But the biggest advantage, as I said, with a native app is that it is built with performance in mind, and specifically with sometimes even specific hardware in mind. That's the native app's power. For the longest time, Facebook built their app on HTML5 and certain technologies that were more cross-platform compatible. But because of that, performance sucked and people hated it. They hated using the Facebook app. Well, Facebook ultimately conceded and decided to build native app experiences depending on the platform, and everyone loved it. I mean, as far as loving a Facebook app is concerned. Which one is better? I really don't know. I wish that more apps were cross-platform compatible, but I certainly do appreciate the fact that when I'm running an app on a newer phone, it feels like I'm running it on a newer phone. It was built with that phone in mind. Native app compatibility doesn't bother me too much if I'm using an app on one platform. So that's this versus that. It's performance versus portability. It boils down to that. If you have another versus topic about anything, not just related to tech, go ahead and let me know either in the comments or feel free to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, Instagram, wherever else you might be able to follow me, and we'll talk about something versus something else next week.